Hey Mojoholics, welcome to Inside Watch Mojo, episode 13, lucky number 13. As you can see, Ash is not with me this week, but that just means you guys get to meet a new member of the team, actually the newest member of the team. In this case, it is Chris Mason. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Rebecca.
And meet the nice people outside.
Oh, hi, everyone.
So, like we do with everyone who comes on the show who hasn't been on before, we like to do kind of a getting to know you portion, which involves a lightning round. So, if you can answer as quickly as possible, and you are on to discuss trivia and game shows, so
Yes.
Appropriately, what is your favorite current game show?
I'll say Jeopardy.
Good answer. My
Vanilla,
answer.
but classic.
Yeah. Well, favorite classic game show?
Oh, okay. Let's say either Beat the Geeks or Win Ben Stein's Money.
Neither of which I am super familiar with, so that's cool. I'll have to check them out. Do you have a favorite, like, board game or something?
Yeah, Seven Wonders. That's my favorite board game right now. I play a lot of board games, though.
Okay.
Seven Wonders, I love Pandemic.
Okay.
Munchkin. Munchkin's probably number 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, I play a lot of board
I'm gonna
games.
have to look these, I guess so. Everybody has to say their favorite movie.
Let's say Punch Drunk Love. It's one of my favorites. Might be favorite.
All right. Favorite TV show?
I'm loving Better Call Saul. I'm loving that right
I have
now.
it all on PVR. I haven't watched
I'm
it.
hooked on Walking Dead too, even though I love it and hate it.
And favorite band?
Let's say Beck.
All right then. Okay. So,
Actually, I'm really into Odessa. Odessa, I'll say Odessa.
Okay.
That's usually what I listen to at my desk.
there you go. Okay, so like I said, you're on to discuss the game show / trivia, but let's find out a bit how you came to join the Watch Mojo family. You did some work for us a couple years ago. Now, did you know about Watch Mojo before that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably stumbled on it on YouTube, and then when I found out that we're Montreal based, that made me a lot more interested, being someone who works in media in Montreal, and so I've been watching the videos ever since.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask, have you been following, what we've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen probably every episode of this show, to be honest.
I apologize.
No, it's been really interesting.
Cool.
Well, for me at least, because I consider myself an industry insider.
Right.
So it's
And we're letting you be the insiders. Sorry, I made my cheesy face. So anyway, you then saw us post another job, and you heard Ash talk about on this show, like the potential for a Watch Mojo game show. So what made you want to get involved in our work on that?
Well, I have worked on a game show before. I spent the last couple of years working in TV as a writer, researcher, that sort of thing. And I worked on a show called Pop Quiz, which was extremely popular and lasted 1 season.
I did see it.
Oh, thank you.
I did
That's
see
good.
it, yes.
That's good. I never saw it. I didn't have a TV at the time, so what are you going to do? But I saw it all as we filmed it. So I saw that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was a great experience. So
And what did you do on the show?
I wrote content. So
Okay.
I researched questions and put them into this crazy half-broken Java database that we had, and edited some. And then when we were shooting, I was the judge backstage. So someone would give an answer, and I'd be there to click yes or no as quick as possible.
Oh, I want to do
It was
that.
intense. It was intense.
That's awesome. I always think about those guys on Jeopardy in the back room, and they're very picky sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes they're not.
And on this show, we had questions where it was like, you have 10 contestants, and everyone has to name something from a list of 50 best romantic comedies.
Ooh.
And so they're saying stuff, and I'm looking at a list of them and seeing if it's on the. Ooh, it was intense.
That sounds rough.
Not to brag.
Well, before we get into more about the game show / trivia show, we need your help on some suggest pages, as always. So take a look at these. Top 10 anime powers, top 10 courtroom films, and top 10 fictional video games in movies and TV. Courtroom films, Well, I was on an Al Pacino kick once, and I decided I wanted to watch all of his good movies, and I wanted to watch that one where he's like, "You're out of order, the whole system's out of order," and it's called Injustice for All. And I don't know how long it is, but I want to say it's 5 hours long, and it's really slow until that one scene.
Wow.
Super slow. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know what to tell you. Do you have a favorite courtroom movie? Or courtroom scene?
Courtroom movie. How about my favorite courtroom scene? Big Daddy. Right. Yeah. And Jon Stewart comes in. What I love about it is that it's so implausible. Like, the court doesn't work that way in any other movie or jurisdiction.
Fair enough. What are you gonna do? I'm working on this week, top 10 aphrodisiacs. Now, I've heard like conflicting information about whether or not an oyster is actually an aphrodisiac, but I think you had mentioned zinc.
Zinc stimulates fluid production, let's say.
Right.
Is that the first time you've had the phrase stimulate fluid production on this show?
Fact.
Nice.
Actually, it might be the first time I've ever encountered it in life, and I hope we keep it that way. Let's
you have a sad life, Rebecca.
What? Do I really? Anyway, you're working on Asian dishes, which probably stimulates fluid production in the mouth area.
Top 10 Asian really, I'm just working on lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Asian dish?
I love me some Indian food. Let's say Rogan Gosht, which I think is a lamb curry.
Okay. I like Szechuan food, as I've mentioned many times. I think Hunan dumplings, I hope, are Szechuan, with the peanut sauce there, and like, you know, General Tao, I think, and spring rolls and all that Americanized Asian food, but it's delicious anyway.
Nice.
So now we're talking about contests. We actually have 2 this week, but let's talk about last week's first. Last week's contest was a bit different. We asked you guys to replace a word in a movie title with a type of cheese. And the people who are much funnier than I am came up with Monterey Jack Reacher.
Oh, yeah.
And the Gouda, the bad and the ugly, I believe was the other one. But we're giving it to Chris soto-ferrell, also known as @Chris_guy126, who went with Gouda Fellas. Don't forget to email us at contest@WatchMojo.com to claim your prize and send us your shipping info, which is something I forgot to say last week. So if you won last week, that is how you get your info to us. So this week we're actually gonna have 2 contests. One is for our Canadian residents only, many apologies. But, so in honor of the release of Into the Woods on DVD and Blu-ray on March 24th, we will be asking you guys to tweet us a message about your favorite fairy tale, and why, with the hashtag WMFairytale, FAIRYTALE. We have 6 copies of the movie to give away on Blu-ray. So, do you have a favorite fairy tale? I guess Cinderella, because it's their shoes.
I'm gonna say the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
All right.
Something about stealing children is very, it makes for like a rich story.
All right.
It's awful, don't do it.
Don't do it.
This is not an endorsement of child theft.
Okay, moving on. Before we get to our other contest, we're gonna talk to Chris a bit more about his plans for WatchMojo in the in the game show space. So we've always had kind of an element of trivia to our videos because they are trivia based, basically. And on WatchMojo.com, we have like the trivia section that people can go and answer questions, but we've never pushed it super, super hard. What do you see as a concept for a trivia show or game show that WatchMojo would produce?
Well, I think a good place to start is with what already exists. And so it's top 10 lists and trivia, right? Like you said. Those are 2 very strong components that WatchMojo has. And so I think we should probably start small, right? So what I would like to do is have a trivia show that's related to a top 10 list, right? So we keep things tight and thematically related, and start there. And we have to start small. That's the other thing, you know, is like I have so many ideas and there's so many possibilities that we could do. We need to crawl before we can walk, before we can run, before we can fly, right? So I want to start simple so people I think can expect in the near future to see a video which is basically top 10 trivia relating to a brand new video.
Cool. And from what I understand, it kind of combines some elements of existing shows that we have. For example, it's, well, like WatchMojo News is something different for us, but it's still in the top 10 format that people are used to and that people respond to. And for topics, for example, it's similar to topics in that I expect that we'll see a host.
Yeah, I think we'll see a host, either me or someone else, we'll see. And so yeah, it's really just building on what WatchMojo is already doing. And hopefully it can help it do even more. new things.
What do you see as like the fly section of that?
Oh man,
phase?
I mean, it could be something like a live game show, really, where we either have contestants in the studio, or I think it's even more appropriate to Skype them in so that we can have Mojoholics from around the world. You know, most of our fan base isn't even in North America, right? Or at least half of them, is that right, about that? Something like that.
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm not good with numbers.
So, you know, a game show with guests who are Skyped in, live graphics, live sound going on, prizes. We can go really far with it, but we'll get there. Start slow.
That is fair. So, in the spirit of trivia, this week's contest is kind of a combo trivia / game show, and Chris is helping me out with this, which is why he has to scramble to get his PD. I don't know what that is.
Tablet?
Tablet. That's what it is.
Did you almost call it like a
PDA, yes, because I am in the 90s.
Wow. Look at my Palm Pilot here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to
Where's my stylus?
All right, that's enough. Anyway, so Chris has invented a question for us this week that is far more complicated than what I usually come up with. So this will be on Twitter. Send us your answer with the hashtag WMQuestion. Chris, take it away.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, is that since this is like an internet-based trivia show, the internet has all the answers.
Right.
Google basically nullifies, if you have access to Google, it nullifies anything, you know? Nullifies any trivia game show thing, unless you can write trickier questions.
Right.
At least that's my take on it for now. So I want to create questions that you can't just solve with one Google search.
Right.
It'll take two, and you have to compare and be clever. So here we go.
I'm stressed out already.
All right. And I like it when the questions can sort of tell a story. You know?
Right.
So here we are. You are the culinary secretary of the UN in New York. A group of Apsara dancers has come all the way from their home country to perform for the delegates. As the head chef of the joint, you need to prepare a meal featuring their national dish. So what do you make? Is it A, pad thai, B, samlor kako, C, gonga momo, or D, sweet and sour pineapple chicken?
Well, I do not have the answer to that without any Google searches. I'm stressed out. So, as I said, this is on Twitter, so don't forget to tweet us with the hashtag WMQuestion with your answer to Chris's very convoluted and complicated question, which is what we like to see on this show.
Heck yeah.
So, we always like to end with a comment of the week that either pats us on the back or kind of makes fun of us. And in this case, it is the latter. So, on Top 10 Mad Men Women, Tahir Akinci commented, Top 10 WatchMojo video resolutions. Number 10, 480p. Number 9, 480p. And you can see where this is going. Honorable mentions go to 360p, 240p, and 144p. Now, joke's on you, Tahir, because that was commented on a 720p video. Suck it.
Oh.
I got nothing. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.